That guy needs a shave.
It's called No Shave November,
guy.
freak. Although I did have a coworker tell me I look like Santa Claus today, so good news. I'm shaving on Thursday.
I bet he got flipped off.
No, it was actually a she. So, but anyway. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. Doing good.
Doing well.
Doing pretty good.
Sorry for the absence, guys. Been under the weather with a cold, death in the family, a few other things. And one time we went to Florida, and Jonathan, you need to behave. That's all there is to that, you rascal.
And then the one night he could make it is the night that I canceled it. So.
Anyway, yep. So over to you, Paul.
Oh, well, let's see. I got some new cases came in. I got some 223 Lapua cases came in today, so I started working on them. I still can't find any small rifle primer 308 cases, but I'm looking, and it's just been trying to find stuff, with the holidays fast approaching, that drop a few hints there, here and there, and stuff that that's needed in the reloading room. Accuracy One just came out with their new bullet comparator that puts Sinclair's to shame. So
wow, that's hard to do.
And how much does that little beastie cost?
About $200.
So it's not too exorbitantly overpriced.
No, not
comparatively.
But it's fast. You drop the bullet in, you let go of the you can hold it in your hand and read it, and you can look at it, drop the bullet.
What was the company on that?
Accuracy One. They don't even have it up on their website yet. It was F-Class John had the premiere of it, I would guess you would call it.
Well, they got all sorts of fancy stuff. They got bullet tipping dies, a me-plat trimmer. Bullet comparator.
Mike is in awe. Mike's drooling. Your chin's wet, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Hmm. Nick, while we were off the air, I heard you and Paul discussing dirty powders. Would you care to elaborate on that, please?
So, for anybody that doesn't watch my channel, I've been working on some load development for a British Webley Mark IV in 38 Smith & Wesson.
Okay.
And I've been having some issues on a couple different things. Started off with a lot of unburnt powder in the barrel, and I believed it was getting down into the action, which was causing my action to seize up. Been working on some other stuff, also trying bigger bullets, diameter wise and weight wise. And I'm going to try to go to a different powder, try to see if that solves, maybe a little bit faster powder, see if that solves some of the unburnt powder. That's going to be in a future episode. I would have a new episode of that series up on the channel, but a part broke on the gun, so just waiting for that part to get here.
Nick, we're going to ask for hen's teeth here, but just a thought, if you could find some, try some Magnum small pistol primers.
I think I have some. I got to look through the bucket, see what all I got down in there.
What powder were you using in that web?
So that was a True Blue I was using, which is pretty quick, or well, for as far as the pistol powder, I think it's the slowest on my chart. I'm going to try HP 38. That seems to be a little
Yeah.
bit faster. So I'm going to try that and see if that resolves. I will say this. When I went from the 358 grain or 358 diameter, 158 grain to the 361, 190
Right.
grain, I did notice a dramatic decrease of unburnt powder in the barrel. So that
Good.
was a good sign. Hopefully this trying the HP 38 powder will resolve that issue completely. So
Also, if you have it, and if you can get it, don't forget you can try bullseye on that too.
I do have some bullseye, so I know that's one thing I will try as well.
But
So
be very careful of that good old girl, because you put a little too much in there, she's going to take you home.
oh yeah, and I'll start super low, and that's the bad. I don't know if anybody's ever loaded 38 Smith and Wesson. You're using literally like nothing. It's like
Okay,
1.2.
but be
or
very
whatever.
careful. Do
Oh, yeah.
not underload. Do
I
not
won't. I won't. So
go out.
Yeah,
Don't go out of
please.
spec.
no, I'm
The
gonna
the
stay
old
as close as I can to what the book says. I don't want to go above. I don't want to go below.
the old
Why?
30
What happens when you underload?
Well, I don't want to find that issue out.
there's an issue with 2.7 grains of bullseye with the 38 Smith and Wesson with
And
a
I have
hollow
read
base
that.
wad cutter,
I have read that.
and
so.
that's why I say careful with dropping down. I if you're a half a grain, if you're half a grain or 2/10 higher than the starting load, I'd be more than happy to start there.
You know what, Nick? I'll go along with Paul to suggest you go with, let's just say minimum load's 90%, max load's 100%. I'd go 95% load myself. That's what I would try. Remember, you don't want to stretch that Webley's frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Hopefully, a video will be coming out here once the gun gets fixed. For everybody that does watch that series, I believe I have resolved the jamming of the action issue, and I'll cover that in the video. I had a couple screws that kind of were loose that I didn't check, and what it caused is the lower assembly and the brake top upper to kind of wiggle like this. Which, if you think about it, the shock inside that gun causes all the parts to kind of bind up
Mm-hmm.
and not allow the timing to work correctly. So I believe I resolved that issue. But once the part comes in, new loads get developed, hopefully everything kind of works back in. I don't think, and I'm going to have to say this in the final wrap up on the next episode, I have noticed I will not get to what the actual Webley loads from Britain during the war. They are a heck of a lot hotter than anything published data is calling for nowadays. I don't know if Paul you've ever dealt with that, but those were some smoking rounds. I'll put it out there.
But those were cordite rounds.
Yeah, and anybody messes with cordite.
Cordite's cordite is a very forgiving strand powder to deal with. Okay. You got to remember, so it's stacked in columns, and it burns from the differently. It isn't like a pistol powder where it's just laying in the cartridge case. So you gotta it could be loaded really pretty hot, and it what we would call hot nowadays for them would be a military load.
Yeah. I just want to find a nice middle of the road, get closer to the correct load. I think it was like 850-ish feet per second. I want to be, if I can be around the 550, 600, maybe 650, but it would still be just a nice go to the range, cheap shooter. Other than that, I've had a great result accuracy wise with the new projectiles I got.
What are you going to run? What bullet weight are you going to run in that Webley 850?
So, I'm going to try to use the 100 and...
Well, you got the 190s?
I got the 190s from a company called Bear Creek Supply, and Missouri Bullet Company makes, I think it's a 158, 160 grain. And that's what I think I'm going to stick with in the long run. There's going to be those Missouri Bullet Companies, but it's not going to be a gun I go shoot every day. I'll put it that way. But if I can work a nice, good load up, even with the 190s, I think I've been getting on one load, I was getting like 550 with the 190s. So if I can get that a little bit higher, have a nice good load with the
Just
closer.
be careful, okay?
Oh, I will. I will. Thank you for the look out for me, Jim.
Good thing you already knew about underloads. Underloads can be just as bad as overloads.
Knock
In
on wood,
fact-
I've never had it.
No, I'm
So-
talking underloading in rifle cartridges with slow burning powder. Paul backed me up on that, I'm sure.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have been known to underload and detonate. They don't burn. The propellant doesn't burn. They detonate. In other words, the damn things explode in the chamber.
Mhm.
It doesn't do the shooter's complexion much good.
And I'll put this out there: loading for 38 Smith and Wesson is actually, I wouldn't say difficult, but it's very kind of intense because most of us, when we load, we look at down in the case. There's a substantial, decent amount of powder in the case. You look down a case of 38 Smith and Wesson. Once you put powder, there's like little to nothing in there. So it's like, wait, did I get enough powder in there? So you have to think, okay, I'm not using much powder. So it's.
But remember, you're not using cordite. Cordite was like spaghetti sticks.
Yeah. Yep.
Dry spaghetti sticks.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's been a fun series, and I'll have some more episodes coming soon. So,
We look forward to them.
and I'll put this out there. My first episode has over 3,000 views, which I did not expect, but that's taken off. So
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
but
Good
other
for
than
you.
that, I've had some fun stuff come in here in the last couple of days, and so everybody already on here already hates that though. So.
Lead bullet junkie just put in. We don't need to be the next Kentucky ballistic.
Yeah, just what I want, a Webley cylinder going into my neck. Yeah.
Yep. Put a thumb in it.
Exactly. Thank goodness I always keep a first aid in the range bag. So first aid
Yeah,
kit.
no.
So, but yeah, no, I don't. I hope I never have an issue. I've never had an issue shooting, but so
Well, were you done, Paul? I sort of
Yeah,
used
go ahead.
the feeling. Well, I haven't been idle. I picked up a green laser dot for my Ruger SR40C.
Oh, you mean for that short and weak?
Yeah, the one that you and I will compete with someday.
Okay.
Let's see here. So
Yeah. You got
Tattoo.
tattoo.
It wasn't all that expensive. I'm not gonna lie about it. But at the same time, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and try it for target practice. I want to see how tough this thing is. I'm unboxing it. First time I've seen it. First time I've seen it.
Unboxing.
Exciting.
Exciting. Yay.
Oh,
Here,
Mike, if you
let
don't
me-
mind, I'm going to put myself up on full screen.
Go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
well, it's got a lot of plastic in there. Okay.
Oh,
Now
like I
show
said,
that off again.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, you know what we didn't show, Mike? I'm sure you've shown it several times. The new stickers from Patriot Patch Co.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that.
Oh, I love that. Anyway, well, I managed to grab the laser sight itself first thing. Laser warnings, signal, patch, whatever, plastic, tag. Haven't put it on the gun yet. But anyway, I got to put the batteries in and all that kind of stuff. So, Yep.
Well, show us.
oh, you want me to actually do it on screen?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I can do that. You're going to have to bear with me while I figure this mess out.
Of course.
This is a little plastic bag. I know it's kind of insulting to your intelligence. Couple Allen wrenches in it
Okay.
And
Comes with the Allen wrenches and the screw.
and a loose screw.
Okay.
And is Paul out in here yet?
No, we don't have them in yet.
Okay, because I'm sure he would take advantage of that loose screw comment.
We told him that that the show was pushed till tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you told Chris Sharp it was pushed till Friday. I love that. That's what we're talking. We're talking behind the scenes in the Discord channel, guys. Loud and Sharp are always at each other's throats over there. I think those guys are actually very good friends, but don't tell them I said that. Oh, I think I just discovered something. My
Yeah.
battery is rechargeable, I think.
Oh, there you go.
The reason why I say that, this card right here, you can see
Got a
USB.
USB.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little USB cord to, come on, focus, damn it. There we go. To recharge the battery, I think.
Yeah.
Well, battery won't see much use, I'm sure, laying in the nightstand. But I don't really anticipate using this too much as a self defense tool because what are you gonna do? Tell the bad guy, hey, buddy, hold on
Turn my laser on.
while I turn my laser on so I can get it see that button on your shirt. I don't think it'll work too well. Okay, screws out
Okay.
Mhm.
and 2 Allen wrenches are out.
All right.
And these must be, I have no idea what these are. I guess I better read the directions. And don't tell me I don't need no stinking directions, Mike.
You don't need any directions there, Jim.
Okay. Thank you, Paul.
I didn't say it.
I know. That's why I thanked him. You was going to be a smart ass with. But Paul's my elder, so I'll respect my elder for once. Okay. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. We'll find out. You know what? Let's continue with the show while I figure this out.
Oh, okay.
Take myself off of solo layout. What's the topic for tonight, gents?
Well, I was going to talk about. I got this bullet in from a buddy of mine who was on an elk hunt earlier this year, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's a 7mm bullet that is perfectly rifled, slightly deformed at the tip, no bulge, did not even try to open up.
Did he
Wait a
shoot it out
second.
of his shotgun?
He shot
Paul?
it out of a 7mm Remington Magnum at an elk 800 yards away.
That's a fired bullet.
That is a fired bullet.
And that lead tip is only.
That lead tip.
There it is. I see I couldn't see the rifling.
Can you see the rifling on there now?
I see it now.
Okay. So, the question, is what we shoot at game, what bullets we pick, and making sure that if we're shooting at something that even though we know we can hit it, is the bullet going to work for what we're using it for? There was another gentleman in the rifle questions in Rhizometic in Discord who was been using 140 grain bullets in a 7mm rum, and he's finding that they're leaving extremely large entry wounds because the bullets are blowing up on the deer. So as we learn to pick out bullets and ranges and velocities, we have to understand how our bullets are going to perform and if they're going to perform. So this gentleman here that had this bullet, shot this bullet into an elk, my friend had noticed that his ballistic when they shot at the hunting camp to check the zeros on their rifles, that he had to put on a lot of elevation in order to make the bullet hit where it's supposed to, and things which led us to believe that this bullet was traveling somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2,500, 2,600 feet per second when it was let go at the muzzle.
Paul,
Yes,
that
sir.
velocity is below what I can get out of my 280 AI. I'm
Right.
getting 2865 out of my 280 AI. So he's shooting a very mild load.
Right.
Okay.
And at long range, that's meaning that the bullet has enough energy to open up. So, would it have worked at 500 yards? I don't know. But we have to, kind of select our bullets to what we're working with, and to select our velocities that are going to work. So, this bullet here is a fairly strong jacketed bullet. It is not a lightly jacketed bullet. So it is not going to open up at slow velocities. Now, I don't know what you use in your 280, Jim, AI, for if you would use it for hunting.
Right now, I've been shooting at 160, 162, 172. Federal deer thug, made by Spear. It's a lighter bullet, a little bit lighter than what you had there, I think. I forgot. I'll be honest with you. I better back that up. But Paul, what was the bullet weight again?
The bullet weight came in at 158.
Okay.
Okay,
He's probably
so
shooting his 168 grain.
This was a 160 grain bullet.
Okay.
That's the best I can tell. Who
Well,
made it?
I'm shooting the same bullet weight, roughly the same bullet weight,
Right.
and getting better velocity. But I also have a 28-inch barrel on that. He probably has his Remington's 26-inch.
24.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Why would you do that to a rum?
No, not to a rum. This is to a 7 mag. Okay.
Oh,
the rum is the other gentleman here that's using 140 grain ballistic tips.
Okay.
And is having the bullet blow up on deer.
Yes. Okay. My bad.
That's all right. But this is what we're trying to decide is, can he go up in a bullet weight, or should this guy here either get his bullet weight down or get his velocity up in order to make a effective hunting round.
Well, you guys know me. I generally go with a heavier bullet because I can take the recoil.
As long as you got the velocity to back it up, and you're going and the range you're going to take the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I'm a firm believer in 500 yards on elk. That's my belief, unless I'm shooting, something big, real big, a 300 rum. I could move up to something to 338.
Ooh, 300 rum. Yeah. You're talking sweetheart.
Yeah, I know, but I'm also talking a bigger cartridge too, to a 338, Win Mag or something along those lines.
That's right, sir.
Because I can shoot a 225 grain bullet in a 338 Winchester mag and be effective out to past 500 yards without too much of a problem. And if I'm in elk country and there might be, possibility of a bear around, 338 makes a pretty good impression on them brown creatures with big claws.
Sharp teeth, loud voices.
Yeah.
We talking the same critter?
Bad attitudes.
Right.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Very poor attitude. Yeah. Whereas if a 7mm Remington Magnum, I wouldn't be crying, but I'd be sitting there kind of worried about it.
I figured something out, guys.
Uh-oh.
Aren't you a fart smeller?
Yep.
He's going to shoot us, guys.
No, he's not. This gun is unloaded. Action's
Yeah.
open. And there's nothing in the chamber. I can prove it.
That's okay.
Well, I don't want to put the laser in my own eyes.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Anyway, those guys on YouTube, finger in the action.
Yep.
Nothing there. Anyway, I didn't have to do a doggone thing. Like what confused me was they have polymer keys. Ooh, this is neat. Polymer keys, different keys for the Picatinny rail for different handguns. Turns out my Glock and the I could actually mount this on my Glock if I wanted to.
There you go.
And I might do that. I just need to get a new OWB holster from Jason Christensen of Concealment Solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Need a free plug for Jason.
Actually, what you should get for your Glock is a Delta Point from Loophole.
What color is it?
It's a red dot.
Red dot.
Oh, okay. My bad. I had no idea.
It actually replaces the rear sight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You just drift the rear sight out, and then it's got a little bracket that slides in the channel in the dovetail, and then it screws down.
That's not a bad idea, but that would make it a competition gun.
No.
Then you wouldn't need a new holster.
Too small. Too small.
To what? 40 Smith & Wesson?
No, the sight.
Oh, too small for competition.
It's a smaller sight. It's not as big and a window as the competition sights do. Yeah.
Okay. Goes to show how much I don't know. Good evening, Miss Kitty. It's nice to see you, dear. Andy 79Z28. Good to see you, bud. I have to throw this one out there. Michael Dunn, appreciate the cheap shot, but yeah, Jim's back. Yeah, I had death in the family and sickness and all kinds of trash, and forget about it. You don't want to hear my troubles. I'm just a regular guy.
Nobody.
But I do like it. I'll tell you what. This green dot, green laser, I'll tell you what, it's so easy to activate, it isn't funny.
Well,
all you
that's
gotta do
good.
is push one button, turn it on, turn it off, one button, turn it on. My finger's in the way.
Yeah. GGW Outdoors, the foot-pounds of energy have to be there. Of course they have to be there. That's the thing about selecting a rifle for hunting, is that we're selecting a rifle and a cartridge so we can deliver the foot-pounds at the ranges that we're shooting at. Why is a chronograph so important? Because then we can at least extrapolate our velocity and know what it's going to be at whatever range we decide to shoot the game at.
I believe GGW is the same school of thought we are, Paul. I think he's saying that foot-pounds of energy have to be there.
That's what I'm saying, though. We agree with that.
Yes,
I'm saying that we also need a chronograph so we can prove it out.
Yes, sir.
At the ranges. So if we can get at the muzzle, we can get our velocity. We know what the BC is going to be, and then we can extrapolate with the ballistic program what our energy is going to be at the range. So if somebody would have had a velocity on this bullet here, then we know that they might have been able to figure out that the bullet was not going to open up at that 800 yards.
Paul, let me ask you this. Another
Sure.
question. Was it factory ammo or was it reload?
It was a reload.
Okay. Then that's totally on the shooter.
Right.
The reloader or whoever. If he had reloaded it himself, that's totally on him. If he had somebody do it, shame on him. Do your own reloads. That's only one reason why we don't reload for other people.
But a lot of people are obsessed with the accuracy first. Yep. The pinpoint placement of the bullet, and don't get the velocity to where it's going to be. In other
You're
words,
right.
1 minute of elk or 2 minutes of elk is not a big problem. Whereas, a quarter minute of elk, but you're too slow, now you got a problem.
In other words, the same thing we've been telling these folks for 8 years, Mike. You got to take and shoot your gun to know your gun. You got to take and load for your gun. You got to know what you're doing. You can't trust somebody's reloads. You can't just go with blind accuracy. You've got to know what you're doing. Like TGW said, we need the energy. Paul and I believe in the heavier bullet weight, but again, the accuracy's got to be like you said, minute of elk.
Yeah.
Minute of elk. I mean, my God, guys, we're talking at 800 yards. We're talking an animal.
You got an 18-inch bullseye, okay,
Yep.
on an elk, basically. So at 800 yards, you can go 9 inches each way. So
What would that add up to be? 18 inches at 900 yards. That would reduce the target down the other way. You diminish it to, it would be roughly 3-inch circle.
Yeah.
No, maybe smaller than that. Even so, 3-inch circle at 100 yards.
18 at 900 would be just
2
about
inch.
2 MOA.
Yep.
So, yeah, there was a question in the Reloading podcast group from Palm Nisegli. I've been looking to find a bullet caliber that would be more practical, efficient at extreme close range, 50 yards and in. I've been using 100 grain partitions in a 243 Win and took 2 deer with them this week. Both times the bullets went clear through the deer at 25 yards.
good.
Maybe I could just find a reduced load that groups okay. I went with what grouped best, which was a muzzle velocity of 3,000 feet per second. Thanks in advance. That's what we're talking about is a bullet designed for what your distances you're hunting. I had a guy come in opening day in Wisconsin. He comes in and he wants a new rifle because he had a 243 that he shot a whitetail with at 50 yards and it went right through it. And then they had to track the deer. So,
Well, if somebody's shooting a 95 grain partition in a 243 and it's going right through the deer, it's got to make a good size exit hole because a partition is that way.
That's right.
And
Basically.
at let's call it 2,800 feet per second to be on the low side with a 243. That's got to scramble the inside of a deer. I mean, that's really got to do do a number on it.
mm-hmm.
So, can they still move? Yeah, I've seen deer, with everything shot out of them, and they still can go, 25, 30, 40 yards, but isn't that what we're looking for? I mean, the complete pass through, with a controlled expansion bullet. That wouldn't bother me too much.
Well, it depends on, what the passer is.
Yeah.
If it's going in and the bullet's not expanding.
Well, if a 95 grain Nosler partition doesn't expand,
And it didn't.
It didn't.
He's saying I have an exit hole, but was hoping for solid blood trail too. The entry and exit holes are similar in size, thinking not much expansion is happening.
Well, shooting deer with a 6mm, I've used 95 grain partitions. I've used Sierra 100 grain boat tail soft points. They both work. I've never had an exit wound with a 100 grain Sierra boat tail soft point in 6mm.
Mm-hmm.
I've had an exit wound with a 95 grain partition. The exit wound was about the size of a quarter. That's it. Didn't hit any bone.
Yeah.
So, and I can tell because of the size of the quarter that the bullet opened up well, and the inside was jelly. So, and my daughter's got an 11 point buck in the living room that it was drilled with a 6 millimeter Sierra 100 grain Botail soft point.
Mm-hmm.
So either one of those I know will work at good velocity, and I measure all my velocities on everything. I can get the 95 grain partition up to close to 3,100 feet per second in her 6 millimeter, and the 100 is at 2,900 feet per second.
Mm-hmm.
So, and with good accuracy on both. So,
You mind if I interject or interrupt you, Paul?
sure.
Andy Z28, I'm sorry, Andy 79 Z28. He's got two good comments up that I'd like to bring attention to. He's saying, do not, I repeat, use a zinc bullet for hunting. That's fine. I wouldn't dare disagree with Mr. Andy. But Andy, remember, Elmer Keith liked to use a hard cast bullet for his 44 Magnum. And the 44 Magnum is a pretty healthy caliber round as far as diameter goes. I think it'd be interesting to see at least to try, but of course you'd want to have a backup. One round with zinc, if that doesn't work, shoot quick to put the animal down for the second one, soft point.
Well,
Pre-expanded bullets is what I'm talking about.
yeah, with the thing that he's talking about is
Rifle bullets, of course.
well, no. If you compare a zinc cast bullet for weight and density versus a hard lead cast bullet, it's a world difference.
Yeah, you're right, about 60%.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's saying that, and no expansion.
Yeah, because the bullets are too
Now,
hard.
granted, a hard cast isn't going to expand much anyway because it's not supposed to.
But it's also going to have a lot more punch because of the heavier weight.
Exactly, and that's the problem. That's your issue is your zinc isn't going to have that energy behind it because you're not going to push it that much faster. Sorry, brain fart. Anyway.
Well,
thanks. Go ahead, Mike.
Elmer Keith shot a lot of deer with an elk with a 44 Magnum, okay, or his 44 Special loaded to Magnum velocities. But he was counting on a 44 caliber hole going in and a 44 caliber hole going out. And they were all semi wad cutters, not round nose. So they were cutting a sharp hole when they hit something. And that was his thing about making a 44 Magnum work. We're talking about using, well, geez, I mean,
almost 7/16 of an inch.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about using little tiny, thin projectiles and telling them to hold together at 30 yards and at 800 yards to open up into this beautifully mushroom bullet. We have to put some limitations on ourselves, people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoot a deer at 30 yards with a big gun, you're going to have some problems. shoot a deer with a little gun at long range, we're going to have some problems. Unless you're, you know, Hathcock and you can, shoot the eyeball out of a deer at 800 yards. And I just,
Yeah, it's choosing it boils down to choosing the correct tool for the job.
right.
So if you know that you're going to be hunting and the farthest shot you're going to be doing is 1,500 yards, then you need to choose something that's appropriate for that. If you know you're going to be shooting at an animal and it's going to be longer distances, then you need to choose appropriate for that. You have to plan for correct energy. Now, one of the things in that 243 thread that they talked about doing is going with 55 or 57 or 58 grain. I think it was a 58 grain.
I've never seen one hold up 58 grain. I've shot a lot of 58 grain 6mm bullets.
Well, he was talking for the 100 yards.
Yeah.
So
I've never seen one hold up. I mean, I shoot prairie dogs at 300 yards with a 6mm. 55 grain bullets just don't hold up. They explode nice. They're very thin jackets. So, I'm going to still stand by, a Sierra, 100 grain Sierra bullet. He should get something out of it as far as a blood trail. Am I going to guarantee it? No. Because I've seen 30-06s not leave a blood trail.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hunting, guys. It's not. I'm not target shooting at a deer.
Yeah. I'm looking to see where 58 grain VMAX is what somebody suggested. So
ain't gonna hold together.
But
whitetail deer is a very tough animal.
Yeah, but a prairie dog isn't. And
That's
if you can explode a
spear hot cores.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to have some ethics. You got to have some. You got to deliver some energy to the target. Yeah, so the 58 grain 6mm caliber delivers enough energy to the prairie dog, but at the same time, are we talking? Yeah, I saw that too. Mm-hmm. Are we talking whitetail? Are we talking elk? Are we talking mule deer?
Well, he was talking deer. He was talking deer.
Yeah, he's talking whitetail.
He's talking whitetail, and it just doesn't have the oomph in there to, it's going to be a 4-inch wound, okay, 4 inches deep, and that's it.
You're going to have an injured animal in the woods suffering. It's going to die. It will die. No two ways about it. But are you going to be able to recover your animal? That's unethical as hell. Personally, I would never go in the woods for a whitetail with anything less than a 308 Winchester with a 165 grain bullet. That's me personally. I'm not setting any rules, rule of thumb, anything like that, but I haven't hunted in years.
Well, a 243 is actually a 243 Winchester is actually a incredibly great whitetail round.
I don't argue that. But in the right hands and the right energy and the right ethics.
Well, that's the thing, is you have to have the right bullet for it.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the problem we have as hand loaders, is choosing the correct bullets. When we don't do that, then we get situations.
Like I said, back to ethics. There's Mr. Loud.
I finally realized it was Tuesday.
Crikey.
Jordan Rangan, I think it's crazy someone is complaining about 100 grain partition in a whitetail. I think the
Yeah.
issue is a statistical outlier event, not a history of poor performance. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's you know,
Right.
they got yeah. I mean, it's just it's been a good bullet. All the partitions I've ever used have been good bullets.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a case of it's an outlier, or
Well, I mean,
and
if a
he may have commented about other issues, but the biggest complaint was the biggest complaint about that thread that I saw, and I didn't read every comment. There's 92 comments on it. It's on the Reloading podcast group if you want to go read the whole thing. I'm sure at some point in time somebody asked him, well, after you shot them, how far did they go? Well, if they went 20 or 40 yards, then what's the problem? It did what it was supposed to do. Now, if it went in one side, came out the other, and then the deer went 3 miles, even though it was a double lung shot, then it's an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You're damn right it is, because that sounds to me like a bullet just passing through. That's again back to maybe the guy underestimated how much yardage he was, or I'm sorry,
Right.
overestimated.
Yeah.
Could have been 25 yards, and he claimed it on 100.
Mm-hmm. So,
I have seen deer that have been shot with both with a good entrance wound and a good exit wound, and the way the deer was positioned when it was shot, it hunched up, and the bullet exited on the offside, and when the deer straightened out, the hide moved, and there was no blood trail.
mm-hmm.
So, that's one of the things that I've seen. So I've always taught everybody that I've ever hunted with is watch where the deer goes. I
Yeah.
mean, just see where the deer goes. I mean, if you have to get out of the blind, or if you're in a tree stand, I mean, stand up and look.
Right.
You absolutely should, because that's part of the ethics of being a decent hunter.
Oh yeah, and everybody wants to wait, that hour or half hour, and everything else. I'm sorry, I'm not one to wait. I shoot a deer, I get up, I go out there, and if it wants to run away on me, it's getting another bullet. So I've never waited on a deer that I've shot to see if it was gonna stay down. We're not bow hunting. Where you're
Well,
cutting.
I got a question for you. What's wrong with a spine shot, neck shot, even a head shot? Unless you're talking a trophy buck. I know what's wrong with them. They're all difficult shots.
Oh, I'm not even going to say anything other than a headshot is, basically a 3-inch target on
There you go.
on a deer. Okay. That moves. I mean, it really moves. You know where it's going to be from one instant to the next. Next shot, you could hit something and not hit anything. You go right through it and wouldn't be anything. A good killer of deer, and people don't know this, is a Texas heart shot. It is a good killer of deer.
All right, I'll bite. What's a Texas heart shot?
It's an ass end shot. Put a bullet through his ass.
Okay.
It does wonders. I mean,
it can't go wrong, because everything's vital.
Well, not only that, but you got all the big arteries back there and everything else that's working on it. Yeah, okay, you're going to mess up a little bit of meat, but it will put a deer down.
Yeah.
And down fast.
I had to highlight this one from Craig NMZ. His comment is, sounds messy. You right.
It is. I'm not going to disagree with it.
I
But
guess I won't be able to use my butt out if I do that.
yeah.
I know. It'd be going butt in.
You know what a butt out is, Jim?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's an anus remover.
Yes.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's doing your homework, choosing a correct bullet, choosing a velocity that the bullet's going to work at. So,
And if you're a reloader, shoot your damn gun. Don't shoot just 2 or 3 rounds and call it good. Shoot 2 or 3 boxes full of practice with your rifle.
mm-hmm.
Know the shooter.
And
Knowing the shooter is more just as important as knowing the rifle.
measure your velocity so you know where you're at.
Yep.
You know, don't sit down and say, you know, well, the book says that I'm at 2,800 feet per second. Yeah, maybe in that book, but your rifle's not the same as that book. That book may be shooting a 26-inch barrel on a pressure test bed. The barrel's been, you know, a hand rifled barrel, and yours is a factory barrel that is a little off in the measurements and everything else. And the chamber's a little loose. It's got a long throat on it. Yeah. Try again. Shoot it over a chronograph. Borrow somebody's. Find somebody at the range that's got one and ask. You know.
There's a quick comment in the chat I'd like to address. It's from the same person, Craig NNZ. And his comment is, isn't that why we hand load? No, I have to disagree with that one. Most people, myself included, get started reloading to shoot cheaper. Shoot cheaper. They don't. I had no idea about the different velocities and the different performances and the style of bullet and the weights of the bullets at the time. That's what we learned. That's why we as we hand load, that's what we should be learning. Yes, absolutely. But no, that's why most people don't start is because of economics. Or what? I'm sorry. Why most people start is because of these simple economics.
Well,
I could save $8 a box on ammo. Yeah, right.
Well, you know, I wonder nowadays because people will sit down and say, you know, a box of 20 223 is, you know, $6, $7. Okay. Okay. How accurate is it? You know, is it good for anything other than just shooting up into the dirt and shooting at a target?
Hey, there you go, Paul. You're right. Because what kind of ammo are we talking about? We talk about FMJ. We're talking about punch and paper.
Right.
We're talking about home defense. Wait a minute. We can't be using FMJ for home defense. Those bullets are made to punch right through.
So I'm sitting there saying, you know, what is the bullet good for?
Exactly, Paul.
What was the bullet good for on this? What was the range? Was that really at that velocity? I bet you if he shot it at 500 yards, it would have been better off. Right. Maybe, you know. So they're lucky they got the bullet back. So so I could send it back to them. They had to track that elk for 2 days. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
And meanwhile, that animal suffered.
Well, you know, that was the thing. They shot it. He did tell me they ended up shooting it at 300 yards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was a 2-on-1 hunt, so the other hunter had to go with, which was my buddy. So he did not appreciate that. You know, especially because an elk hunt where he was at, you know, was about $10,000. So,
ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch, indeed. Andy, there you go.
Yeah. Cyanide works well.
However, I think at that point in time, it's not edible. Good grief. So Jorgen said if you're launching bullets at 3,200 feet per second plus, you almost need a core bonded or a monometal bullet to hold together at short range impact, but those premium bullets generally need a higher impact velocity. Kind of defeats the purpose of high velocity.
Also, those bullets also need a faster twist barrel than what is around for what some of the people are looking at too. The gentleman that's shooting a 7mm rum is looking at a 9 1/4 twist, and you're limited to a round nose 175. Okay, maybe a Nosler partition. 175, that would be it. But any of the solid core bullets, they're too long. They are too long for that twist in that gun.
Yeah. So what happens if I shoot a bullet with the wrong twist rate?
Well, you're not going to be very accurate. You're going to sit down and...
Instead of it going through flight like this, it goes
tumble.
Yeah.
Don't park that boat in my county.
Dork.
It's nice to be back.
It's good to have you back, you bum.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
you're not.
You're right. I'm not. I got life too.
Yep.
You got life.
Well, I think that's what I do. I think that's what I do every time I draw breath is to keep my life going.
No, I thought you got life. Your wife that mad at you?
Oh, incarcerate. Oh, okay. That's a thought. Zoom right over my head, Paul.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Good night, Andy. Good to have you. He was talking about putting cyanide in home defense rounds. It's like, Jesus Christ, Andy.
Well, that way you only have to scratch them.
Mm-hmm.
I highlighted the first one, but I didn't highlight the second one. Good thing this is an audio only show.
Yeah.
Well, podcast.
Yes, Budman 76 Swift A-frames are another good hunting bullet. They're basically like a Nosler partition.
Thanks, Gerald.
There are a lot of good hunting bullets out there, gentlemen.
Use them.
You know.
Choose the right one.
Choose a bullet, measure the velocity, see what you're looking at, and decide, if you're shooting things at close range and you got a high velocity gun, either get a slower gun or pick a bullet that will hold together without too much of a problem.
If you're using high velocity and short range, you're going to take the shot. We understand that. But if you're hunting in the woods of Pennsylvania, which I did for years, a long shot in those woods is 75 yards. 30-30 is plenty of gun for that. You take a 7 rum into the woods with that, and you shoot a deer 75 yards with a 7 rum, you deserve what you don't get.
Well, I mean, there's a gentleman here that's sitting there complaining that he shoots deer at 300 yards and he's got a 6-inch hole in it.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why I say
Yeah.
he doesn't get the meat because he's ruined it.
Right. So he's got to pick a bullet that's, like I would say, a 175 grain partition. It'll open up enough to go through the deer.
Yeah, but Paul, like you said, you mentioned the caliber 30-06 earlier.
Yeah.
My God, people have taken deer at 400, 500 yards with 30-06 if they pay attention to what they're doing. A more moderate velocity, more moderate caliber as opposed to that crazy 7 rum. I mean, if I were shooting, when I buy a rum, it'll be a 7 rum, but I'm not interested in using it for hunting. I want to do long range.
Okay, but if someone's got a 7 rum and they want to use it for hunting, what it makes a nice bean field rifle. Okay, if you know what a bean field is,
I know about the mile long fields.
That gun would make it. It would put a big bullet out there a long way. So, but a 300-yard gun with a 140 grain bullet, no.
Well, at the same time, you can't control where the animal comes out of the woods at, or wherever you see the animal. You can't control that. But what do you do? Wait for the animal to mosey off to 500 yards, 800 yards?
Well, I guess. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much out of our hands.
Right. And I've seen it go the other way too, where you sit down and you're looking, and the deer comes out of the woods and starts up the game trail, and it's coming towards you. You're expecting it to go the other way, and it comes towards you. And so next thing you know, you're at I better shoot now. I'm at 100 yards. So
with that 7 rum.
Well, I can place bullets well. Yeah.
I know what you mean. You know what, and you know what I mean too.
Yeah. But that's the idea, gentlemen, is to pick a bullet, pick a distance, pick a bullet, and if it's not going to work out for you, put it up in the safe, make it your bean field rifle, pick another gun out, and go from there.
Hey, Paul.
Yes, sir.
There's your Texas hard shot on screen from Mr. Loudmouth Paul Loud. Maybe if you shoot the south end of the deer, you have better results with the 7 rum. Paul, just before you signed on, you may have heard, I'm not sure, but we were talking about Texas hard shots. I took Paul's bait and I had to ask what it was.
That's a shot in the south end of a deer on a northbound
deer.
Yep. So.
Good comment, Gerald Fichtner. He's paraphrasing us. You're saying heavier bullet on short distance and just man up and eat the recoil. When you're wearing your hunting attire, you're not going to get much recoil anyhow.
I've never noticed any gun that recoils
when I'm hunting. You're damn right. Good comment, Gerald.
That's like on that one. I hate people like when I have people come buy shotguns for like slug guns. I tell them, hey, when you go to sight this in, wear what you're going to wear in the field.
Yep.
Because if you're wearing just a t-shirt and shorts or whatever, and then you're wearing a car or jacket in the field, that your accuracy is going to be 10 times different. So yeah, if you miss that monster deer, whose fault's that?
Right.
Well, I've been saying, practice with your gun. Shoot your gun. You're not going to wear it out shooting 2 or 3 boxes to practice with.
As long as you don't overheat the gun, no.
Yeah, well.
But unless you're a prairie dog shooter, you don't worry about it.
We keep politics out of the show, Jen Champ Jr. Just use a 9mm, you'll blow it slung up. Perfect, right?
That makes me want to say something, but then again, I won't.
Let's keep going.
Well, it's not even
Good
political, so.
Good. Roland Young makes a good point, too. And what if you're hunting where you never know if you're getting 300 or 800 yards? He's got a point, and that's what we've been saying.
Plan your hunt.
There's still bullets that will work at 300 and 800 yards, okay? There are. You can, if you know that's what you're going to be shooting at, then look up the different bullets. Look up the velocities that you're going to be shooting at, and then see if it works. If you're getting at 800 yards and you're getting 1,500 feet per second or 1,800 feet per second, pretty much know the bullet is going to open up at that kind of range, at that kind of velocity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At 300 yards, you want a bullet that's tough enough that it's going to stay together. So that's why partitions are so nice. That's why new copper bullets are so nice, because they stay together. Something is going to go through the deer or the whatever animal you're hunting, and it's going to have enough velocity to open up, and enough retained energy at longer range to do its job.
Jurgen said, Roland, you could either dual load a long range load and a short range load, or set a limit and stay within, i.e. 500 yards and in.
That's me. 500 yards and in. Don't want to take a chance.
Or just get a 50 BMG and be done with it. All right. Yeah. Just quit screwing around, get a 50 BMG and be done with it. That way you can shoot
Texas hard shot.
300 yards or 800 yards. It's not going to freaking matter.
And I'll be honest with you, 800 yards is a long way to walk. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're talking a half mile versus what 800 yards is, 2,400 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, you're out there, 2,400 feet. You're out there. That's a bit of a trudge, guys. 500 yards isn't, is a good one. The only thing nice about shooting the prairie dogs on a prairie dog field is that you can get into the truck and go measure after that. You take your GPS, you get a reading at 1, you go out where the prairie dog is that you shot. You can sit down, hold the GPS over the top of them, and you can sit down and write down what the shot was. All right. You can't do that on elk. Well, maybe you could, but it's still hard.
So,
well, Roland Young, welcome, and welcome to Discord. We gave you a rough time over there today, but I hope you enjoyed it.
So,
Ken Brown's got a point, Paul. ATV makes 800 yards a short walk.
800 years a short walk.
No, he corrected himself.
Acceptable range for a lever 30-30 Ranger model.
125 to 150, period. Max.
Depends on the load. Because Jeremy Rowland will disagree with you heavily, Jim.
Oh, we're talking about an F-class shooter there. We're not talking about we're run-of-the-mill Pennsylvania woods hunter.
Right. So, yeah, typical for your 30-30, you're looking typical 100, 150. If you're using the Hornady Lever Evolutions and you're practicing 200 yards.
Isn't that the whole thing, guys, is the practice? And that doesn't mean shoot off of a bench. That means lay down on, on the ground, get your belly dirty, take a knee next to a tree or an iron pipe or whatever they have at the range, and shoot there. Throw a backpack onto something, and
The only problem is they tend to frown when I set up my pop-up blind and then put the chair in there. They don't like it when I do that at the range.
I'm just saying that even a little offhand practice isn't bad.
Yeah.
Guys
it doesn't do
guys
any
are
good.
beating me up. These guys are beating me up.
Yeah, I know.
Get over it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Jason is here, so you can't say that. That's Jason's line.
Well, Ken, that is why it's a personal choice. So he said I can shoot. Ken Brown said I can shoot a 30-30 confidently at 200 yards on paper, but never consider it on game. Well, that's your personal choice. So,
but that's good though, because the man sets his limitations. Okay,
exactly.
Yep.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. Is that's a good thing because he set his limitations.
Right.
So, Jeremy said he's taken some shots on whitetails with that 170 grain cast that he uses at almost 3. So, but he also practices. He's also an F class. He was also F class shooter at the time. 800-yard shots were no problem. So, yeah, the biggest thing is practice. If you got a lead sled or you're shooting off the bench, get your rifle sighted in, get your scope sighted in, and then go put that in the truck. So, and shoot how you're going to shoot. So,
and the other thing is if you can't stand someplace and shoot offhand, go to an indoor range with a 22 rifle.
Yep.
Okay. Go to, sure, you're not going to get the recoil or anything else, but I dare you to sit down and hang a weight on it.
Oh, that's easy. You just have your buddy come up and punch you in the shoulder after you pull the trigger. Recoil, bam!
No, but you hang a weight on it because most 22 rifles are nice and lightweight little buggers. Put some lead on it and go from there. Get it to weigh 7-8 pounds, and then hold it up underneath your desk clad ass and your arms that are not used to lifting anything more than the pencil and the stack of papers. So it's a lot. You got to do it.
Playing with my new toy. I recharged it. I actually sat here, plugged the cable in. It's magnetic charging cable. While we were talking, I actually fully charged it. It probably was already charged, mostly.
Look at you being fancy then.
Yeah. Oh, there's Paul. He's flickering it by hand with his green laser. Aiming it at you, Paul. Here's one for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Damn kids.
Yeah, that's us old guys.
My laser's over in the safe, so I can't do that. But
excuse me.
I have some cool stuff, but then again, it's not laser cool. So, and I shouldn't like this.
What you got? Ooh, big fat bullet. Big fat bullet mold. What's that for you? 5.77?
It hit for my Snyder. So 530 grain solid lead. So
wow. You're shooting a chunk of lead. How fast you shooting it?
I don't know yet. I haven't cast any. This just came in the other day, so it's a big boy. So
don't forget to chronograph it.
Oh no, I will. I'm gonna chronograph. So I got that in the other day. This I picked up over the weekend while I was out of town. It's a brand new, and I actually have it posted on the Discord if anybody's interested in it. It's a brand new in the box. 44 mag mold.
44 caliber, you mean?
Yep, 44 caliber. Yeah, you knew what I meant. You knew what I meant. It's been a long day.
True. No. Even Lodge gonna laugh at that one.
Oh,
Oh,
That's
Nick,
awesome.
before I forget, is that a gas check mold? I think it's got a gas check
Uh,
heel in it.
yes, this is a gas check one.
Okay.
So, yeah. So if anybody's interested in it, just shoot me a message on Discord. It's brand new in the box, so it's got the original factory lube on it still. So,
Gerald wants to know: Can you make custom 30-30 loads with a high BC 308 bullet and shoot safely in a lever gun if you will load one in the chamber and keep only one spare in a tube magazine?
sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And if you're smart, you would sit down and look at like the Hornady single shot pistol bullets, because they work at velocities that the 30-30 would have at longer ranges. Okay, and you'd be surprised what kind of velocity you can get out of it.
I had to put a star on Jorgen's comment about Paul's cats.
That's hilarious.
We got 8 starred comments tonight. If anybody wants to go see them.
There we go.
Paul Odd, you've been asking for that kind of treatment for a long time.
So, Gerald, like I've got these 30 cal 140 grain monoflexes that I'm going to try out for some 30-30s. I've got some 160 grain FTXs somewhere around here.
Yeah, but you're going to single load those in single load the magazine, single load the chamber, right?
No.
Flex
Um,
tips.
Polymer tips?
Yeah, the flex tips can go in
Oh.
in the magazine. He was saying if he uses a high BC bullet,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there saying that if he uses a like a 160 or 170 grain bullet, he may have lower velocities at longer ranges. Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm saying is to drop down and weight a little bit to a single shot pistol bullet, which is, for a 30 Harriet or a 30-30 in a pistol, and you will find that you'll get higher velocities at the start, but the bullet will hold together enough to and still open up at say 200 yards. So
Yep. So, yeah, I mean, definitely it's an option with with any of the lever guns is single loading or single loading in the chamber and then single loading one in the magazine. The idea is the reason they say you can't is because if you get a tip like this, it will pierce the primer in front of it and kaboom.
the recoil, right?
So, and then you've got problems. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, you can definitely single load. So.
Yeah, unless you're shooting an 8mm Lebel.
I was about to exactly say that. I was exactly about to say that. I was grabbing a piece over here. Dang it! Paul beat me to it. Gosh, dang it!
What's this? I'll bite. What's the deal about the 8mm?
So the 8mm Lebel has so you can see there's that rim around the primer, and so what that allows you to do is, so the Lebel was a tubular magazine, so even using this, what it would do is it would ride in that rim or that channel, and it wouldn't pierce the primer.
Okay,
is what they designed those cases around that for. So,
aha,
yeah. What was it was the leverage that as the case was in there, it had a tapered case and a flanged rim, so it would sit down like this low, and it would, so the next one would sit up higher. Ugh. like yay. And let's see, got to go left to right, right to left. So it would sit like this, but the cases had such a taper on them, and plus with the flange rim, it made sure that the bullets were nose down in the tubular magazine, because they found that out real quick with the LaBelle when they first started with the tubular mags.
Well, you could always do what Remington did with Model 8s and the Model 14s, where you had the spiraled.
Yes, spiral tubular magazine. Yes.
So, Jorgen Rangen said, "To be fair, loading Spitzer in a Model 94 Winchester just turns her into an over-under rifle. I have a feeling the sights may not be regulated for the lower barrel."
Okay.
Now, my question is, since you have more than one round going off with one pull of the trigger, does that violate the NFA?
That crazy Canuckian maniac. We
Raggle
love you like a
Fraggle.
brother, Jorgen.
Raggle Fraggle, you guys ever heard of a Benet primed cartridge?
Isn't that similar? Like the rim fire just doesn't hit the rim. I think it hits the actual like bottom of the case by the rim, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know.
He said he learned about it at Wanamaker.
Yeah, because there's that guy at Wanamaker. He does nothing but the ammo collector guy. But I think 50-70 was done in it. 45-70. There was a 58 caliber, like a Sharps. What else? I think that's the three I can remember.
What is Benet primed? Benet primed is a common style of inside primed cartridge developed by Colonel S.V. Benet, commander of Frankfurt Arsenal, late 1860s. It was used exclusively in early U.S. military ammunition. A copper iron cups was secured inside the head of the case by characteristic crimps.
No, I had never heard of that before.
So I hadn't either. Learned something new.
Yep. Every day. Getting to the age where I meet new friends every day too.
Forgot who your friends were.
Oh yeah. Who?
Wait, I know you. Crap. So what you're saying, Paul, is you're living out 51st dates.
Oh yeah.
I guess that makes married life easier.
True.
You don't remember what you're fighting about the day before.
Say what? Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Paul Loud, can Canadians still set off primers? No.
Nope.
No, they cannot.
Why not?
They can't do anything up there anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, Canadians can't set off primers anymore.
Not legally.
No fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I'm waiting for them is when the Canadians start to realize that what's going on is when they start getting their cannons out and they start lighting their cannons off.
So yeah, we were talking the other day about using cannons for home defense at work.
Oh God.
Well, that works.
Well,
I set a nice Napoleon 12-pounder at the top of the stairs, loaded up with some double canister.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, let's put some grape shot in there.
We debated that the fact on whether I wanted to use double canister or grape shot. And I said double canister would be much more fun, bigger holes.
Through the whole city block.
I'm of the opinion that the flechettes would be better.
True.
Flechette nasty boy.
Nice.
Yeah. You know, that way
Oh, that's awesome. Reggle, Freggle. Tally ho, lads. That's right. Oh, you guys want to bum rush me with 4 people? Guess what? This goes through 6.
Yep.
What's Ken Brown asking about? Like Discord was mentioned.
A Discord was mentioned. Yeah, we have a Discord.
Yeah, we do. Ken, contact one of us. We'll send you an invite.
Yep.
Okay, Spud man.
Oh my god. No, we're talking about cannons with 2 ends.
And no.
Oh, by the way,
Well-
I did find a actual Napoleon for like 18 grand on online for sale.
God.
So, but there's a couple companies out there that have build your owns. You can get like the carriage and everything for like 15 grand.
If you don't want it rifled, just so you know that the standard railroad car axle is the same size as a Budweiser beer can.
Where is that comment? Oh boy, somebody's up to evil.
So I won't say who built it, but you can send a sand-filled
Oh my God.
Budweiser can a long way.
And I always thought my PVC tennis ball launcher used in hairspray and barbecue grill lighter was fun.
Yeah.
You imagine sending a can full of concrete?
Oh yeah.
Jen Champ Jr. No, that's bidet, not benet. Nick, what's that? Is that from?
That is
That's
a
a
buddy of
can.
mine's.
Oh, my,
carriage
I'm in
and
love.
everything.
Oh,
Nice.
he's got 3 cannons. So
I wonder if that's the guy that had it at the one Manicore shoot at the site a couple of years ago.
where was
Last
that?
time
I can ask him. I
Last
see
time
him, like,
Manicore
moving.
Arms had a machine gun shoot, there was somebody there that had a cannon.
No, I don't think it was that. Because here's one he took when it's going off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it might have been because they were in full Union blues.
yeah. Well, he's Confederate. Well, he does both. So he does Union and Confederate. He's got, I think, 3 cannons, and
Nice.
yeah, he's
That-
got
I
awesome.
thought I saw a little bit of muzzle flash for that cannon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he was
he did.
shooting that one.
A little
That
bit.
was-
Just
so-
a little bit.
Hey, they've got bowling ball mortars too.
Oh my
At
God.
the one,
Oh my God.
At the one place I found.
You'd be all right if the ball holds up.
Balls do. They work.
Oh yeah, you see. The thing is, you got to get the cheap lane ones. If you get the good ones, they split. But when they land, but if you get
my
if
God.
you get the cheap
The-
ones, they bounce.
The problem with the good
So you're
ones
talking
are
that?
there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God almighty.
Same guy. He's got all that. It's so much fun. I love going to his house.
The good bowling balls are softer, okay, and they squish and they don't do well.
No.
But the cheap ones are really hard. They don't squish. They
Yeah, but what goes up has to come down.
Oh yeah, they
It still
come
comes
down.
out to your neighbor 5 miles away for his roof.
Well, I mean, it just
That's his
depends where you're at. Yeah.
Just make sure to wipe the fingerprints off the ball before you put it in the war.
That's right.
God. You know, YouTube's going to kick us off this channel. You know that.
No.
Hey, you
We're
can leave your own
joking, of course.
cannons.
Nothing is serious.
You
This
can
is all.
leave your own cannon. It's
Yeah.
there's nothing
it's
wrong
legal.
with that. It's legal. No special licensing or anything needed.
I could, if I had the actual funds, I could actually go to the site that I found. I could actually order a cannon, and they would ship it to my house. It's
Same thing with
perfectly
a
legal.
same thing with a Gatling gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A Gatling gun is not a true Gatling is not a machine gun.
That's right.
Well, no, the Gatling gun, you still have to do a 4473.
No,
Now,
Oh,
if you build it
yes, you
yourself-
do. It depends. It depends. It
'Cause
depends.
if it's
If
a-
you buy it, yes. If you build it yourself from scratch, no, you don't.
No. Now, if it's an actual honest to God original Gatling gun, then it's an antique and no. But
Yeah.
if
It depends. It gets where it gets a little iffy because there's some way around it that is if it's a exact copy of an antique,
yeah,
no 4473 is needed. It's just, but then you gotta, I don't
well,
mess with
it's like technically on the Uberti 1873s,
yeah.
technically, because they are an exact replica, you could get away with that, but nobody does. Anyway, so yeah, cannons are fun. I'm gonna eventually. I'm gonna get just one of the little 50 cal ones. So, unfortunately, Primary Arms does not have cannons. They do have a bunch of other fun stuff though. Aero Precision lower stripped AR-15 lower Gen 2 on sale for $59.99 right now on their Gear Up for Christmas sale. Buy 10, they're cheap. So, Willow Defense Forged stripped upper for $34.99. So there you go. Under $100, you already got your upper and lower. Or if you want a matching arrow is $52.99. So now you're at $120, probably with shipping. And then they've got all sorts of barrels. Precision Defense 5.56 complete M16 bolt carrier group nitride on sale for $59.99.
Whoa.
Daddy needs a new BCG. So, just some of the many things that Primary Arms currently has on sale on their Gear Up for Christmas sale. Swing over, check them out. Hey, Jim.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now you can show off your sticker.
I got an American Defense card.
Nice.
I love
There
it.
you go.
Get my finger off the.
What's the limit on that, Jim?
5% cash back, Black Rifle purchases, Patriot Patch Co. There's no limit on it. No limit
heck
whatsoever.
yeah, makes it even better.
What's the interest rate?
Mm.
Yeah,
5% cash back on Black
17.76%.
Rifle purchases.
probably.
And the card number is 223-556-308-762.
It'd be hilarious if you tried that and it actually worked.
Oh my God. Patriot Patch Co. would kick our ass. Oh my God.
So,
And here's the other sticker that we got. I've been off the air for a while, but I keep my stickers collected.
Yep.
I'm not sure what the eagle's wearing, but I know what he's got in his hand.
that's a turkey, not an eagle.
Oh,
So turkey.
his head's an eagle head. But anyway,
That's awkward. I've never seen a. That's a weird turkey.
NVGs.
NVG with a grenade with a spoon held down and the pin out.
Yep.
And dropped.
So
Gobble, freaking gobble,
Gerald
bitch.
said that a foundry that did our company's brass and bronze castings had castings for and made cannons. Ooh, nice. Anyway, so, but yeah. So that's from Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. Check
And
them
that
out. They
credit
got all
card
sorts of
number.
cool
The
stuff.
credit card number is 223-556-308-762.
That's right. So it's an eagle with a turkey tail. No,
I gotta get
it's
me one of
not.
those.
So here is the patch, kids. It's an effing turkey. It's a blue head, not a white head.
It's got a red beard.
And it's got the waddle.
Yep.
Right there. Do the waddle. Waddle. It's not an eagle. It's a freaking turkey.
Gobble,
Trust me.
freaking gobble, bitch.
That's right. Ooh, Mystic Foundry. Anyway,
Calcium carbide.
You know what's funny is I've made carbide cannons. Honest to God, a carbide cannon on PVC pipe. The only thing we could ever launch to it is just a handful of flour. Boy, that flour made a lot of smoke. Started out with a 6-inch pipe tee. Had to drill a hole clear through it. Made a trunnion and all.
You know what carbide is good for? Fishing.
Making settling.
Fishing.
Oh, and a glass jug.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you go fish, you go talk, or you go fish.
That's right.
Shake your bad boy up and drop it in the bottom of the lake.
Yep.
uh-oh.
It takes a lot of pressure.
Hag
to
Munitions
burst.
is on.
It takes a lot of pressure to burst a glass jug.
Yep. But when it does a good job.
I'm not sure what that one means. It looks like Hag Munitions is no longer a thing.
Hag Munitions was a company that made cannons.
Oh,
Yeah.
carbide cannon tater launchers. Yep. Paul, you ever used the carbide can? Clabber Girl baking powder?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Empty can.
Yep.
Made a hell of a rocket.
Yeah, it did.
You pop that lid right off, and that's the only thing wrong with it. You had to keep collecting your lid right back. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. About as well as an M80.
Okay. Has anybody heard of ZSR for primers? Or Southern Defense?
I don't think so. I know that Fiocchi's building a ammo plant and a primer plant in Arkansas.
Okay.
So it looks like those ZSRs are Turkish primers.
Okay.
According to some of the forums, real quick searching of it.
Because they're selling, Southern Defense is selling ZSR small pistol primers in the 5,000 count case for $360, which is $71 a thousand.
That's not bad.
I'm interested to see how Fiocchi does with those primers. I think, what was it, $41 million? Or something like that I was reading.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you, Paul Loud, for reminding us to hit that thumbs up. I'm number 20.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mike, I checked this gun and the laser sight in my alien gear holster, which I've worn for quite a while.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. It won't even go in.
Nope.
Because of the way the trigger guard is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the retention on it, it's good retention, but the way the trigger guard is molded in, no, it simply will not go in.
Yep.
Like I said, I'll be talking to Jason Christensen because I happen to know he does Glock molds real nice. Glock holsters, I'm sorry.
So, that's about all I got, gang. Anybody got any shout outs?
Everybody got their Christmas lists, made out.
454 Boar, I just sent you the Discord link. So, if you want the Discord link, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com, and I'll send you the link. You can also get a hold of it at 608-467-0308. You can leave us a voicemail or send us a text and let us know what your Christmas list is.
Yeah, we'd like to talk about that on air. So please send us your Christmas list.
Yep, send us your Christmas list. See what. Now we ain't buying nothing for you, just so you know. We'll clarify that right now. Sorry, guys, because we can't even buy our own stuff. But.
And if you put us if you send it to us, and then turn the podcast on when your better 3/4 is around, we'll make sure she knows.
That's right. Or he, as the case may be. So
right, or Candy.
Yeah.
Boy, you slipped that right in there, Paul. Perfect timing. Look at Nick's face, red as a beet.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Well, I already got one of my early Christmas gifts. I know.
Yes, you did.
Dice got a good deal on.
Yep. So.
Wow.
All right. On that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
And listen to what your grandpa said. Violence does solve problems.
2A, Second Amendment. Support the Second Amendment. Do what you got to do. That's what this podcast is all about, even though we don't talk much about it openly.
Second Amendment Foundation is filing lawsuit after lawsuit, especially on places like Oregon 114, and they need our support. So step up, gang. Second Amendment Foundation, for those of you who don't know, are the fine folks that brought us Heller and McDonald and quite a few others. So,
yeah, they'd overturn the Washington, D.C. ban on handguns.
Mm-hmm. So, yep. And there's other good groups out there too, but Second Amendment Foundation is the one that I usually support now. So,
I'm a life member.
Yep.
I think FPC is also doing a lawsuit on 114 in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Speaking of FPC and Second Amendment Foundation, Adam is now at Second Amendment Foundation.
Right.
So.
And GOA is doing New York again.
Yep.
And won for the 4th time.
Yeah, because obviously New York didn't think Brewer was serious. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, gang, we have a bunch of legislators and lawmakers that think that the Supreme Court decision doesn't mean squat. So we have to keep hauling them into court. So.
And it may come down. We have to take Congress into court too.
Yep. So
try to remember to while the lame duck session is going on right now, gentlemen, make a telephone call.
Yep. Call your Congress critters.
That's right. Preferably your senators, because they're the ones that are need to know your satisfaction or dissatisfaction of how they're planning to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is lame duck, but doesn't mean anything. And don't let them sneak it into the damn, what was that other bill they're going to put it into? It's already passed closure. I forgot.
They do it all the time here in Illinois. They do it all the time. So
yeah.
Yep.
Stupid utility bill. They put that in there and get it through at 2:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. So keep an eye out on your critters that represent you. We didn't do enough this time around to get rid of enough of them. So, Mike, I think you got something to say about some things.
Yes. If you're struggling, Depression is real. Mental illness is an actual thing. If you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-82... 1-800-273-8255. Give them a call. They're trained professionals. They know what they're doing. They're going to get you lined up with places you can go and people that can get you some help. So, like I said, 988 1-800-273-8255, especially with the
holidays.
Holidays coming up, folks.
Don't let it get you down.
No.
Call somebody for some help. Please call for somebody.
Yep. So,
We
thanks, everyone.
We lose too many people every day.
Yes, we do.
Good night, all.
Good night.
We want you all here. Good night, all.